Welcome to the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware. Football season is grilling season, so stop by Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out their large selection of Big Green Egg grills. Also brought to you by Double Dogs, Sumner County's favorite sports bar. Dairy Berries Heating and Air. Dairy Berries has been voted Sumner County's best heating and air service for the past 9 years. For outstanding service, give them a call today. And finally, by Tennessee Highway Safety Office, reminding you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now here are Coach Michael Stroup and Blaine Kellar.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Green Wave Coaches Show, brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware, Double Dogs, and Dairy Berries Heat and Air. Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar here with Gallatin football coach Michael Stroup. Coach Stroup, now 1-3 on the season after a 10-7 loss Thursday against Dickson County. Just curious as we start off here how the weekend has kind of been for you guys, and maybe that first day of practice back, getting ready to turn the page a little bit after a 1-3 start.
I had a lot of reflection on my part. And anytime you go through these situations, you got to start with the coaches, and evaluate what you're doing. Is it enough? And then, yesterday we started. We went full pads and had full contact drills.
Is that unusual for you guys on Monday?
Well, yeah. I mean, in the season, like you want to take care of your bodies and you want to preserve yourself because it's a long season. But I just felt like there was a need for us to have some physicality this week, and so we're gonna do that all the way through Wednesday, and let's pick it up a little bit every day, and make Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday harder than Friday. So, that's what we're doing, and, we're not going to be full contact the whole practice because that's hard to withstand for 3 hours.
Sure.
But, inside run on both offense and defense, and then, we also doing some one-on-ones with the DBs and receivers that are full contact as well. So, we're going to try to get better in that regard.
When you looked at that tape Thursday, was that the biggest thing you noticed? Just the need to be more physical? Yeah,
we got a bunch of kids that want to lean on people instead of like wrap up and tackle, or they just want to lean on them and block instead of just like destroying their opponent. And so that's just that's going to be the message today. Let's go out there and dominate the competition and compete.
In that game Thursday, Dickson County rushed for, I believe, 188 yards. According to their stats, they had a rusher go for 149 yards individually. Just how does that tie into the need to wrap up and bring a guy down whenever you look at the tape from Thursday?
Well, I think a lot of those things also can be contributed to not doing your job. There's certain keys that players have, and whether you're keying a guard or you're keying the running back, or it may be a fullback. But you've got keys, and those keys tell you what to do and what direction those guys go in. And when you don't do what you're coached to do, and and especially when the fullback is, fullback comes to you, then if I'm the linebacker, then I'm gonna scrape outside. But if he goes away, I'm plugging the A gap. And our linebacker decided he was just going to plug the A gap all night. And so when they run that counter and they get outside, there's nobody there. So there's some things that we've got to do better as coaches, but we got to do some things better as players as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the counter run being something that Dickson County backs really capitalized on. They had some outside runs as well, and their quarterback escaped a couple of times for some bigger scrambles. Does that fall solely on maybe the linebackers trying to, their need to get outside, or is there also a need for the defensive line to set that tone up front?
I think that there was one time where I think there was a certain call on for the defensive line, and there wasn't a rush per se, and so that was on us as coaches. But there was one instance where, again, we have the scrambling quarterback kind of dead to rights, and, our guy just didn't make the play. He just, we got to out-athlete him. And, when you go out there and you got a one-on-one opportunity as a linebacker against a scrambling quarterback, you got to make him pay. And, we tend to lunge and all that. And so we got to do a better job breaking down and running through them.
There weren't a ton of points scored, obviously, in that game Thursday night, but Dickson County went to the red zone 3 times in its 4 drives in the first half. They missed a field goal. They made a field goal, and then they had that kind of odd touchdown grab from 15 yards out. But what other corrections do you see from your defense that need to happen going into Friday, specifically in how Dickson County was able to move the football down the field?
Well, I mean, you got to get off the field, obviously, and not put yourself in situations where you stay on the field as far as, jumping off sides on a third and short, or allowing when it's 3rd and 12, not allowing a big play to keep you out there. But on the flip side of that, you also have to do a better job of keeping the defense off the field. And we have not done that. We have not helped the defense out in that regard. So we've got to work harder offensively and try to find a spark on that side of the ball.
Yeah, 7 points scored in the last 2 games, Coach. What is maybe, if there's one thing to correct going into Warren County this week offensively, how do you get things rolling?
You've got to change some. I've changed some personnel up. I've corrected some things personnel-wise on the line of scrimmage, and maybe that gives us a spark. I don't know. It's you got to be able to block. You got to be able to run the football, and you got to be able to throw it and catch it. And so we're going to try to mix some things up, shuffle the deck up, as they might say, and see what happens this week.
And that's specifically on the offensive line?
Yeah.
Talking a little bit about personnel in regards to the running game, I know we've talked about that a lot this year, but Jaden Hoskins ran a little bit, Nehemiah Dawson ran a little bit. I think Cage Johnson had a run in the 3rd quarter. That was all in 1 drive. Ontarius Scott also had a sweep. Is that what you can kind of expect out of the running game moving forward, a blend of multiple guys? I
think right now we're just trying to find, again, somebody that's going to take the bull by the horns. We just, those guys are getting reps at practice, and we just, if somebody can go out there and give us some momentum, and, we'll stick with him. I like where Jaden's at. I think he's back to getting close to 100%. I wasn't so sure of that last week. Nehemiah gave us some good long runs, a couple of them. But still there's some things in the areas he needs to improve on. And then Cage comes in and gives us a good little bump at times too.
How did you see Dickson County's touchdown pass develop? That was an odd possession where Dickson County's receiver, I think Luke Markham, has your DB beat in the corner of the end zone, but he nearly misses the grab and kind of has to make it with the back end of his hands. How did you see that play develop, and just overall that play that kind of sealed the game in the 2nd quarter?
Well, before that moment happened, I made a decision to go for it on 4th down, which was not the best decision that I've made in my career. But I thought that was probably an act of desperation on my part. So that was my fault for putting the defense in that situation. But on that particular play, we're playing, I think we're in man coverage. And, our defensive back or safety at the time, he's got number 2, man-to-man. And, again, it's discipline, right? And his eyes are in the backfield. And so, for a split second, that's all it takes. His eyes got off of his responsibilities and that young man was able to get open. It just goes again, we've all collectively got to do a better job, and it's my job to hold everybody accountable.
After that game on Thursday, after the loss, you mentioned that fourth down play that you brought up that maybe you said you should have punted on, and then right at the half, Max Kelly comes out for a 65-yard field goal. Talk us through why you don't try maybe just a Hail Mary at the end of the half then.
They're going to put everybody back anyway, and you got Max here who's got a big leg, and we just gave it a shot there. The one thing you've got to worry about is being able to cover the kick after it is kicked, because it may not make it to the end zone, and if it's not made to the end zone, then they have a chance to return it, which it did make it to the end zone, and they were allowed to return it anyway. So, another story there. But anyway, it's a long field goal. But yeah, probably should have punted it there too.
Well, Gallatin does have a chance late in that game to go on I think there's about 3 minutes left, a little over that, to go on a game tying or go ahead drive, and just kind of comes up short after a couple of missed passes, and just an opportunity that maybe slipped through Gallatin's hands, so to speak. What's the mindset of these players, the mindset of this coaching staff as you go into a game where you feel like you can maybe start to turn things around?
Well, I think at the end of the day, we have to we've got to be able to make sure we understand that we've got to push forward. All right, and I've got to do a better job of getting these guys ready and preparing them for Friday, which is why we're practicing the way we are now. They came out to practice yesterday fired up, great attitude. Every Monday, we meet with the captains and the leadership council, and we talk about, leadership strategies and whatnot, and, just kind of remind the guys, kind of give them I guess a theme for the week. And, the theme of this week is, we can't listen to outside noise. And there's going to be a lot of opinions and a lot of outside noise. But at the end of the day, we had one returner coming back on offense and one on defense and 5 on offense. So there's a lot of inexperience out there. And I know everybody wants to, we live in this world where everybody wants to win now. But there's a lot of things that you have to sweep up and clean up in a program like this, and that's what we're going to do. And everybody just needs to be patient and understand that it takes a minute to get things rolling, and this is no different.
Patience and internal reflection sound like the keys for Gallatin this week, and as they try to turn around their season Friday against Warren County. Talk about that and more coming up on the Green Wave Coaches Show, brought to you by Main Street Media Television.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone, from the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
Back in on the Green Wave Coaches Show, getting ready to talk a little bit about our Gallatin News Player of the Week and a lot more about the Warren County matchup. Coach wanted to start off by talking about Jackson becoming the all-time passing leader Thursday night against Dixon County. He surpasses Clay Carnes' record of 2,912 yards. But talking with you afterward, just the theme that you had was we don't care about records or marks, care about wins.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Jack didn't really find out until like Sunday that he broke a record.
Wow.
But he's not really, that's not how he was raised, and that's not how he's been taught. Again, and I think I told you maybe this Thursday, I just want to win. And if, in whatever way that is, that's what we'll do. And I think he'd be glad to hand it off, 100 times a game if that meant getting a win. So it's whatever's best for the team. But we're not worried about individual honors. We want to win, and we want to reach team goals.
What was that conversation like? Were you the one that broke the news to him Sunday? How did he find out?
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him. I don't know if I knew about it. I don't think. Did you tell me about it Thursday night?
I suppose I did.
I don't know. I didn't say anything to him, so I don't know who told him.
Do you know what his reaction was?
Oh, I think he saw it on a social media post. Yeah.
Probably a Blaine Kellar Gallatin News social media post.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He did it in only 15 games, though, and considering it taking maybe just a season and a half, can kind of talk maybe from the dad perspective of how impressive that kind of is?
Well, I mean, I could, but I'm not. And here's the reason why. I mean, Gallatin hasn't been known for throwing the football, and I've had quarterbacks throw for 9,000 yards in a career. So I mean, it's not 3,000. Oh, what do you have?
I believe he's over 3,000.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather him do that in a season. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, again, I mean, if I'm proud of my son and Jackson as a player and how he leads this team. And he comes every day, and he challenges these guys, and he wants them to be better. He wants himself to be better, and I think a lot of times he reflects that in his work habits and also his preparation for the game. And so he just wants the other guys to be able to do that as well.
As one of the leaders of this team, as a player, and then you yourself as the coach, how have you guys worked together, if at all, to try to start getting on the right foot, so to speak?
There's a lot of frustration there, but I mean, again, when you're dealing with, young guys and inexperienced guys, you're going to have your lumps, which we're going through right now. But there's times where we just kind of, whether, I get to work at 5:30 in the morning, and he'll shuffle in here probably about 7:30, and we'll watch some clips of practice or watch some stuff on of the opponent, and at night, we may make some comments to one another about practice and all that, but I think he's just, again, it's a product of being a coach's kid. You kind of hear the talk and you hear the jargon, and and he's been able to be around some good guys growing up, and so he's just an extension of me as well as the captains and the leadership council too. I tell them guys, you're just my voice in the locker room. But yeah, I think they all do a really good job at that.
Jackson, like I said, I believe over 3,000 passing yards for his career now at Gallatin. Took a visit to Murray State on Saturday. Were you a part of that?
I was, yep.
How was that experience?
It's wet. It rained a lot. So, yeah.
Been waiting on that rain to come through on Thursday night. The game moved up because of.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday seemed like really pleasant days around here, and everybody was calling for like I don't know, 10 inches of rain or something, but it never did happen.
I was decked out in my rain boots.
If you could be a weather woman or man, I guess, I don't know, a weather person, a meteorologist, right?
Yeah.
Like they can get it wrong and still have a job.
Yeah, I think that's the case in sports reporting too. I've gotten a couple of my predictions wrong, both on Gallatin and in Sumner County so far, and I still have my job, still kicking around.
Yeah.
Coach, you mentioned earlier the offensive line might have a new look this Friday, and when talking about Jackson, this upcoming game against Warren County, beyond the spark that you hope that brings, will that help more in run protection or pass blocking?
Right now it's run the football. We've got to be able to run the football, get downhill, and run the football. A lot of that, it's a combination of both right now. It's it's whether backs are not getting there quick enough, or we're not cutting off the backside. So it's a combination of things, and hopefully we can get that corrected this week and by process of elimination.
What has this team done, and maybe specifically the Leadership Council, to be your kind of voice and try to steer things toward a couple of wins?
Well, I don't know if you can measure them in wins or losses, but the character of this team, I'm proud of a lot of kids on this football team, and a lot of it has nothing to do with football. It's a Jeremiah Williams who, before I got here was struggling in the classroom, and I've pressed upon him how much it is to have grades, and if you want to go do this, you're gonna have to have academics. And now he's, for the last 2-3 semesters, he's been an A/B student. It's kids like Jaden Hoskins who lost his father to cancer, who's got every excuse in the world to bail out and go do something else. But I've also stressed upon him academics and whatnot. And so he's done a heck of a job in the classroom and overcoming a lot of obstacles. And I can go down the list, man, of kids on here that doesn't have anything to do with football. I'm so proud of those guys for. I think they all do a good job of helping one another and talk to one another and encourage one another. Don't know if that was necessarily the case before. But again, it goes back to teaching these kids, it's more than football. There's life. There's life after football. All right, we all don't go pro. We all don't play college football.
Right.
But it's what you learn in adversity when you're playing that can help you out later down the road. And so, hopefully that gets across, and I think it is.
Does that character help build a program?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Accountability helps build a program. Discipline. And I think, I think for the most part, these kids, they know where I stand now after being here a year. But I love them too. And I have to get on to them a lot. All right. And they're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. They're going to make stupid choices, and they're going to make mistakes. So I get on to them, but I also put my arm around them and tell them how much I cared. I sat with a young man yesterday morning and had a conversation with him, and it had nothing to do with football. And he told me some things about his life, and I told him some things about mine. just to kind of, open that door and say, hey, listen, I'm just not a ball coach. I'm here to help you grow. So those things right there probably mean more to me to any win, against anybody. Just I want to see these kids be successful, and I care about them.
Absolutely. You see the character and maybe just the bond that you have with this team growing in the second season, and there's a lot of season left to play too.
Sure.
Can you talk about the confidence that you have that these guys with their character will figure it out?
Yeah, I think we're so close of doing the little things. I think we can go out there and have an offensive explosion at any time. We just got to have things go right for us early and try to get things rolling in the right direction. I have full confidence in every member of my coaching staff, and I have full confidence in everybody on this football team. We just got to tighten up the belt a little bit a notch and yank them britches up and get after it.
Gallatin at home against Warren County on Friday. We'll take one more break here on the Green Wave Coaches Show. Coming up, one fun question with Coach Michael Stroup.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone, from the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Hey, Toby. Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
Closing out with one fun question on the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin coach Michael Stroup. Coach, I know these past couple of games haven't been fun by any means for those involved with this program, but maybe can you reflect on some brighter moments across your career, some fun games, some really good ones that stick out in your mind?
I think fun games, it doesn't necessarily mean you win them. But I can think of three. Tupelo, 2008, I think. We take on South Panola, who had an 88-game winning streak, probably the largest in the nation at the time, and played them to a 14-13 game. They beat us. We went for two at the end of the game with about, less than 2 minutes to go. But that was an electrifying game. There was probably 10 to 12,000 people at that game.
Wow.
Scotts Hill, 2016, played Wayne County. They were beating us like a drum, 42-7 at halftime. We come back and take the lead, 45-42, with about 3 minutes to go in the game. And,
in regulation.
No overtime.
Wow.
It was regulation, and they end up beating us. It was just like a score fest. And then I think it was 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. Maybe 19. We played in the semis against Nashville Christian. They had come to our place in the season and beat us. We were 1-2 at the time, and they beat us and took the number one spot. And then we met them again in the semifinals and repaid the favor at their place. So yeah, those were some
So is the regular season one your favorite out of that, or is the postseason revenge one your favorite?
Oh, postseason revenge one, yeah.
Yeah.
We got after it. We ran that football right at them. Yep.
Gallatin taking on Warren County Friday night. We'll have coverage as part of the Gallatin News and Main Street Preps. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Green Wave Coaches Show. See you back here next week.
You've been watching the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware, Double Dogs, Dairy Berries Heating and Air, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.